We are often told that the hardest part of a second act is learning something new, a new skill, a new industry, a new way of working. Most people assume that this is the primary challenge. We prepare for it with courses and certifications. We update our resumes to reflect these new capabilities. This focus on acquisition feels productive, like we are building something solid for the future. We believe that adding more is the path to reinvention. It's a familiar pattern taught by the corporate world. More skills, more connections, more achievements. But that's not what actually stays with us. The real work isn't about adding, it's about letting go. The hardest part of a second act isn't learning something new. It's unlearning what the corporate world told you was valuable. It is the slow, quiet process of dismantling a belief system. This system equated our worth with our productivity, our title, the size of our paycheck. Unlearning this requires a different kind of effort. It isn't a hustle. It is a gentle, deliberate unwinding of who we thought we had to be. If you want a life driven by purpose, not just a paycheck, you need a different kind of design. It's not a plan to be executed, but a space to be created. This process is less about building something new and more about renovating an old one. It involves looking at the foundation and the framework that has supported you until now. You must ask yourself what parts are still sound and which ones were built to serve a life you no longer wish to lead. This is not demolition, but careful, considerate redesign. It demands patience and a willingness to sit with uncertainty. This framework for your next chapter begins with quiet observation. Notice the small moments of friction in your day. Listen to the subtle feelings of misalignment when actions don't match your inner sense of self. It is a journey inward, away from the noise of external expectations, toward the quiet whisper of your own purpose. This is not a race. It is a slow, reflective walk toward a more authentic way of being. The goal is not to arrive, but to simply begin the process of redesigning your life from the inside out. The day begins the same way it has for years. The soft glow of a screen illuminates the quiet of the early morning, casting long shadows across the room. Before the sun has even risen, the calendar is already full, a grid of colored blocks dictating the rhythm of the hours ahead. Back-to-back meetings, project deadlines, urgent requests. This digital ledger of obligations is meant to represent productivity, a tangible measure of a day well spent. It is the architecture of a successful career, meticulously constructed and defended. Each accepted invitation feels like a small victory, another confirmation of your importance and your place in the organizational machine. This routine is so deeply ingrained that it feels like a natural law, as immutable as gravity. You navigate the day with a well-practiced efficiency, moving from one task to the next with minimal friction. Status reports, key performance indicators, strategic alignments. You are fluent in the dialect of corporate value, able to translate your efforts into metrics that are easily understood and applauded. This fluency has served you well, allowing you to climb the ladder and build a life of comfort and predictability. There is a certain satisfaction in this mastery, in knowing the rules of the game and playing it with precision. But lately, a quiet dissonance has begun to surface in the small spaces between these scheduled blocks. It is a subtle feeling, easily dismissed amid the constant hum of activity. It might arise during a conference call as you listen to a discussion about quarterly targets and realize your mind has drifted elsewhere entirely. Or it might appear as you type an email, the words flowing automatically, while a part of you feels like a distant observer watching someone else's hands move across the keyboard. These are not dramatic moments of crisis, but gentle, persistent whispers of misalignment. They are the first signs that the structure you have built may no longer fit the person living inside it. The feeling is not one of rebellion or resentment. It is something much quieter, more like a gentle ache or a sense of being slightly out of focus. You find yourself going through the motions, delivering the expected results, and earning the usual praise, yet the feeling of accomplishment has begun to fade. The validation that once fueled you now feels hollow, like an echo in an empty room. You look at the packed calendar, the symbol of your value, and instead of seeing a day full of purpose, you begin to feel the weight of it. Each block is not just an appointment, it is a piece of your life, allocated and spent according to a design that no longer feels like your own. The moments of friction often appear in the transitional spaces of the day. It happens as you walk down a familiar hallway, muted beige walls, uniform carpeting stretching out before you. For years, this walk was filled with a sense of purpose, a quick stride toward the next important meeting or a critical conversation. You would mentally rehearse your opening remarks, anticipate questions, strategize your position. Each step was part of a larger performance, a role you had perfected over time. The hallway was simply the backstage area for the next scene. Now, the same walk feels different. The pace is a little slower, the focus less sharp. Your gaze might fall upon a framed corporate values poster on the wall. Innovation, integrity. They suddenly seem foreign and abstract. The hum of the fluorescent lights overhead seems louder, more insistent. You notice faint scuff marks on the floor, subtle signs of wear and tear that were always there but never registered. It feels as if a filter has been removed and you are seeing the environment for the first time. In these quiet moments of transit, a question begins to form, unspoken but persistent. You might pass by a junior colleague, their face alight with the same focused intensity you once had, and feel a sense of distance, not envy or nostalgia, but a strange feeling of disconnection. The drive that once propelled you forward has softened, replaced by a gentle curiosity about what it was all for. You arrive at the conference room and take your seat at the long polished table. The meeting begins. You contribute, you analyze, you strategize. On the surface, nothing has changed, but inwardly, the echo of that walk down the hallway remains. The person sitting at this table is not entirely aligned with the person who walked through the door. This internal split is not a source of anxiety, but of a growing quiet unease. It is the destabilizing feeling that the foundations you have built your career upon are slowly, almost imperceptibly, beginning to shift beneath your feet. Later in the day, there is a pause. A meeting ends early, or a task is completed ahead of schedule, leaving an unexpected gap of 15 minutes. Your instinct, honed by years of training, is to immediately fill this void. You could get a head start on the next report. Clear out a few emails. Check in with your team. Productivity abhors a vacuum. This impulse to constantly be doing, optimizing every second, is the engine that has driven your success. Today, however, you resist that urge. Instead of turning back to your screen, you turn your chair toward the window. Outside, the city moves at its own pace. Traffic, pedestrians, changing light. You watch a cloud drift slowly across the sky, its shape morphing with unhurried grace. These are simple, ordinary events, background details usually filtered out by a mind focused on deadlines and deliverables. They hold no strategic value. As you watch the world outside, a different kind of awareness dawns. The relentless pace of your workday feels strangely disconnected from the natural, flowing rhythm of life beyond the glass. This is not a profound epiphany, but a simple, quiet recognition of perspective. It is the feeling of taking a single step back from a painting you have been standing too close to. This small act of observation, choosing to watch a cloud instead of answering an email, feels like a minor rebellion. In this brief pause, you're not a manager, a strategist, or an employee. You are simply a person sitting by a window, watching the day go by. The feeling it evokes is not laziness, but a gentle sense of peace, a brief connection to something larger than your to-do list. It is a destabilizing thought because it suggests the most valuable moments might be the ones that have no place on your calendar at all. This is the moment most people stop thinking. The discomfort becomes too great, the uncertainty too vast. The impulse is to turn away, to get busy again, to drown out the quiet, persistent questions with the familiar noise of productivity. We tell ourselves it is just a phase, a mid-career slump that can be fixed with a vacation, a new project. We seek external solutions for an internal problem, grabbing for the nearest distraction to avoid the difficult work of sitting with the truth. The fear of the unknown is a powerful force, pulling us back toward the safety of the familiar, even if the familiar is no longer fulfilling. But staying in this moment of stillness is where the real work begins. It is the pivot point where the meaning of your journey quietly shifts. Instead of running from the emptiness, you choose to face it. Instead of filling the silence, you choose to listen to what it has to say. This decision is a quiet act of courage, a commitment to a different kind of process. It is the choice to stop searching for a new map and to start developing an internal compass instead. This is not about finding the right answer, but about learning to live with the right questions, allowing them to guide you toward a more authentic path. If this feels familiar, stay with me. You are not alone in this disorienting space. This feeling of being adrift is not a sign that you are lost, but a sign that you are finally ready to find your own way. The unraveling is not an ending, but a necessary clearing of the ground before a new construction can begin. By choosing to remain in this still point, you are giving yourself the gift of possibility. You are creating the space for a different kind of value system to emerge, one that is not imposed from the outside, but cultivated from within. This is the starting point for the redesign. Imagine your life is a house that you have lived in for many years. This house was designed by someone else, perhaps by the expectations of your family, your culture, or the corporate world. It is a good house, solid and respectable. It has kept you safe and provided shelter. From the outside, it looks successful, with a well-manicured lawn and a fresh coat of paint. You have spent years adding extensions, renovating rooms, and acquiring more things to fill it, all in an effort to make it feel more like your own. You have followed the blueprint for a successful life, and by all external measures, you have succeeded. Yet despite all the improvements, the layout no longer works for you. The rooms feel disconnected, the flow is awkward, and the light does not get into the places where you need it most. You find yourself spending most of your time in one small corner of the house where it feels most comfortable, while entire wings remain unused and gather dust. The structure itself has become a limitation. It was built for a different version of you, for a life that was centered around principles that are no longer your own. To continue adding on is to simply expand a design that is fundamentally misaligned with who you are now. The work of a second act is not to build a new house somewhere else, nor is it to simply redecorate. It is the work of a redesign. It requires you to look beyond the surface and examine the very architecture of your life. This means questioning the foundational assumptions upon which the house was built. Why is the kitchen so small when you love to cook? Why does the largest room face away from the sun when you crave natural light? These questions are not about blame or regret. They are diagnostic tools used to understand the misalignment between the structure and its inhabitant. This process is slow and deliberate. It involves peeling back layers of wallpaper to see what is underneath, testing the integrity of the beams, and tracing the wiring to its source. It is about understanding the original design before you can thoughtfully alter it. You are not demolishing the house. You are honoring what is good and strong while bravely reimagining what could be different. The goal is not to create a perfect house, but to create a house that feels like a true home, a space that supports and reflects the person you are becoming. This is the essence of designing a life driven by purpose. In this redesign process, your primary tools are not hammers and saws, but quiet observation and gentle curiosity. The first step is to simply walk through the house of your life as if you were seeing it for the first time. You must become an anthropologist of your own experience, taking note of small details you have long overlooked. Where do you feel most at ease? Which routines drain your energy? What parts of your day feel authentic? Which feel like a performance? This is not a project of judgment, but of neutral data collection. Create small pockets of stillness in your days, like choosing to look out the window instead of answering an email. These pauses are your design studios. A journal can be one of your most valuable tools, not a record of achievements, but a logbook of your internal weather. Use it to map the emotional currents of your day. Note moments of friction and moments of flow. Another essential tool is conversation, but a different kind. Not networking, not strategic talk, but a vulnerable form of connection. Share your quiet observations with a trusted friend, a partner, a mentor, not to seek answers, but to be heard. Ultimately, the most important tool is your inner sense of alignment, a quiet, intuitive knowing that tells you when something feels right and when it feels wrong. The work of the redesign is to recalibrate this compass. The space for purpose is not discovered through a grand quest. It is created through small, consistent practices. They are gentle, intentional actions that create cracks in the old structure, allowing a new light to enter. Over time, the cumulative effect of these small, intentional actions begins to shift the entire atmosphere of the house. The energy changes, the light changes, and slowly, almost without you noticing, it starts to feel more like a home. Let us return to the house. The redesign is underway. You have not demolished it and started over. You are still living within the same walls. Your relationship to the space is changing. A life is not a building. A life is living, breathing, organic. The redesign process is messier, more fluid, less linear than architecture. The goal is not to perfect the house. The goal is to learn to live within it more authentically. The house is never truly done. You are never truly finished. You are always becoming. We have walked through the rooms of this life, this house of our own making. We have felt the quiet friction of a design that no longer serves us. We have sat in the still point of discomfort, resisting the urge to run back to the noise of what is familiar. We have picked up the gentle tools of observation and curiosity, beginning the slow, patient work of redesign. It has been a quieter journey inward, a journey of unlearning the values that told us our worth was a number on a paycheck, a title on a business card, a journey of reclaiming our own definition of a life well lived. The path does not end here with a tidy conclusion or a set of final answers. The redesign is not a project with a completion date. It is a posture, a way of being in the world that remains open and responsive. And so, we leave the door to this house slightly ajar. We do not close it with certainty, nor do we fling it wide open with a grand declaration. We simply leave space for new light to enter, space for the unexpected to arrive, space for the person you are becoming to continue their slow, beautiful, and unending work of redesign. The process itself has become the purpose. Now that you have started to clear the space and let the light in, what will you allow to grow there? If this stayed with you, there's another reflection on this channel that continues the conversation.